Alrighty. Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara and I am with Starfish SEO and Marketing. Welcome to our monthly training webinar. If you have missed any of our previous trainings, feel free to look back on our website located at starfishseo.com/training. There you will find our previous recorded trainings that you can refresh and share with others on your team. We are recording this training today and it will be available on our site after we edit it down and put it on there next week. Just to let everybody know, we have muted all of the participants upon arrival, and you will get the opportunity to ask questions during our question and answer section. And that's when we'll unmute you and then you can fire away because we'll be able to answer any and all questions that you have. Again, thank you so much for joining us here at Starfish, and I am thrilled to introduce you to our guest speaker, David White from Serpro Industries, and of course, our owner and CEO of Starfish, Paul Farmer. Today's topic is video content made easy. Please welcome our special guest star, David White. He is a graduate from Middle Tennessee University here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, with a recording industries and mass communications degree. He is a professional commercial voiceover and audio narrator and currently the co-host of the podcast Permission to Win. Paul Farmer, our CEO and leader here at Starfish, has over 3 decades of marketing experience in the healthcare industry as well as retail and restoration. He is not only a business owner, public speaker, teacher, coach, and creative writer. Please welcome Paul and David.
Oh, thank you so much, Tamara. We're excited to be here. And because David is such a wealth of information, I'm probably going to cut my contribution short so that we can tap into him. And today we're probably going to do something a little bit different in that we're going to be doing a little bit more of a Q&A right out of the gate with David because he is his natural environment is more of a podcasting environment. So, David, thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited to have you.
Thank you for the invite, and hopefully anything I have to say will connect with somebody and something will prompt a new idea or a new thought. I like inspiring people to try new things.
Well, so one thing I just wanted to cover right out of the gate is why is video content so important? Just some real high-level numbers. Over 244.4 million people in the U.S. are currently consuming video content. That is a lot of people. 91% of these folks, when they've been asked about if they want to see more content, they say more. Give me more. I want more. I'd rather watch a video than read an article. 86% of marketing professionals use video because it is so effective. It definitely builds your brand. It makes you stand out from your competitors in your market. And if done properly, you can actually generate leads from it as well. So there's huge value there. Average internet users spend between 6 hours and 48 minutes or more per week watching video content. So that's some really good reasons for you to be generating content. And one of the things we wanted to really jump into is why, one of the reasons this is so critical right now is a lot of people are not adopting it. And the people that are adopting it are making huge strides. So I'm going to let David talk a little bit about identifying your target audience. We can help with that as well. But for the purpose of actual videoing, whether it goes vertical or horizontal, David, how do we know if we're going to hold a phone up left or right, sideways or vertical? What determines that on, what the best platform is or the best way to do that?
Well, my go-to is horizontal. I'm going to use the term professional videographer. So the standard platform for me is television, and so that television is horizontal, not vertical. Social media, however, is vertical for the most part, and it fits better on your phone because most people hold their phone this way. So just anything I'm going to talk about today is the pre-planning thought process. So whenever you're getting ready to go and do a thing, think about exactly kind of how you want that to show up. Think about the end user. How are they going to absorb your awesome creative content.
Very good, very good. So what about if I know that, you know, a lot of our customers are ServPro franchises, but we work with other franchise systems as well. How do we identify what kind of tone or what kind of message we want to send out through these videos?
Well, again, think of your audience. What is the number one, what is the message that you want to get out? And can that be done in different types of ways? Can you share something in a humorous way? You can learn a lot through emotion. Emotion really drives people. So whatever it might be, whether you bring somebody into an aha awareness or you bring them to some sort of a, you know, surprise moment, you'll see a lot of videos online that just on social media that just really bring you into a, you know, you're leaning in and boom, there's the kickoff to the answer. And so I'm convinced that people remember things better when they are moved emotionally. And again, that doesn't have, it can
Yeah.
be happy, it can be sad, it can be angry. One of the ways that I encourage when I work with our training department here at ServPro is put the user in a different scenario. You don't even have to, for again, we're ServPro, but you don't have to use a ServPro based scenario. Put them as the customer in a restaurant. Give them a scenario that they experience based on a bad experience at a restaurant, and now they feel how the customer feels if they don't treat the customer properly as a ServPro franchise.
Gotcha. Well, so what about, let's brainstorm for just a second. Where can a small business, small to medium business use video? What can they, what kind of things can they do that's going to attract attention? I mean, and you mentioned a restaurant. Can they take a video or a picture at a restaurant and say, hey, we're here with our crew eating? And is that something that you would recommend, you know?
The beautiful thing about that is the perfect ServPro answer is, or this perfect world answer really is, it depends. So depending on what you're doing, where you're at, what's going on, I would number one, I would consider avoiding children unless they're yours, but you don't need to be putting children in videos. If you're on a property, for ServPro comes into a lot of properties and, you know, does cleanup and restoration, you need to make sure that you have some sort of written permission to be able to talk about that property. The reason we encourage people to make sure that they have that permission is if that business is temporarily out of business, and that can give, and all of a sudden that's all over social media and it gets picked up, then that gives their competition a chance to capitalize on that, and their business may suffer later due to some sort of well, I'm not going to take, you know, a nursing home, for example. I'm not going to take mama there because I saw this thing, and they obviously have old pipes, or they don't care about their people, or whatever the assumption that gets made, because we know that nobody on social media jumps to assumptions.
Right, right. Well, so we're going to jump further into where to post this stuff toward the end: YouTube Reels, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Live, LinkedIn. So we'll come back around to that. I would say, for all intents and purposes, this presentation is dealing primarily with amateurs. We don't expect you to come out with a live video production crew with mics, boom mics, special lighting, makeup artists to get everything ready. We're talking about making this easy where you can do this live from a job site, live from a restaurant, live from something you're doing in your own office, where you can share what's going on exciting in your warehouse or even on the road. If you pull over to the side of the road and want to do something straight from your, you know, vehicle. So in that scenario, David, we got to deal with pre-production filming. I mean, does somebody have to write a script? Do you just get somebody that's really good in front of the camera? Obviously, some people, you know, freeze up when they get in front of the camera. How do you know where to film and what kind of equipment to use? And, you know, how do you recommend a person proceed that really doesn't know where to start?
Well, again, I'm going to say start at the end, sit in your audience member's chair, and then work your way back. So, to extremes, if you expect, hundreds of different movie theaters to play your thing and continue people to pay money to come and sit and enjoy your thing, there's a lot of time and planning and things that need to go into that to make sure that it's the right thing so you make your money back. Obviously, on the social media end, the silliest little thing may go viral and give you a billion hits. Who knows? So it's not about the time and effort that you put into the actual production as much as it is pre-thinking what you want to get out of it, what you hope the audience can get. So, as Paul said, going and choosing a location, obviously be safe, be legal, because we'll talk about music in a little bit. For instance, a music violation of using the wrong type of music, if they want to come at you, can be $25,000 per. So that's a pretty big hit. That's a not something you want to deal with. But as far as getting the gear together and thinking about what it is that you want to prepare for, my philosophy works like this. If you've seen the guy that makes the balloon animals, right, and you get the big long balloons, well, you can squeeze that balloon and thin it down right in the middle, and now it's big on this end, it's big on that end. Well, if you squeeze it on the end, now it's big all the way down through here. If you squeeze it at this end, it's big all the way down through there. So you can squeeze that balloon. One way or another, that balloon has to get squoze. Is that a word? Somebody's got to squeeze that balloon. So my whole philosophy is you've got to do the work. You either pre-plan it at the beginning and spend your time there. So the balloon is time. You've got to, when you're on site, if you're actually doing some sort of a production where you're thinking about how to shoot and do a thing, then then you spend more time on site shooting and, oh, I forgot this, or I didn't get one of these. Oh, we need to have somebody to do that. Or you just fake that and you don't think about it at the front end. And now you're spending all your time in, you may have heard people say, we can do it in post after it's all shot and in the can. Now we'll come back while we're editing and fix it there. And then you have to, cobble everything together. But if you spend the time on the front end, this back end goes a whole lot faster. That's the
With
key
that,
to that.
with that being said, David, I mean, that's great to plan it out. And you have just opened the door to this when my next question is the post production
Okay.
as far as what are recommended apps that are easy for us beginners to tackle such a task. I mean, our phones can do so much, but is there another quick and easy apps that might make it a little bit
Well,
easier?
I'm going to start with where I live, which is Adobe. I live with the Adobe suite of products. A lot of people pay for Adobe products. They're using Photoshop or they're using some of those types of things already. So they've got that account. Um, I just lost it. Adobe Premiere is the video editing platform that is part of that suite that you're already paying for if you're paying for it. That's kind of an industry standard. There is a free version of a product called DaVinci Resolve, and that is from a company, I believe, called Blackmagic. And I may be wrong about that, but it's not something I've used, but it's something that's very successfully being used out there. And it is, again, it's free. There are many other free tools. There's a lot of free sites, and I don't have any information on this because I don't use those sites, and I can't bring my brain to use them because, for instance, I'm a Mac guy, and iMovie was installed on all the Macs. I never could figure out how to use iMovie because I was using their professional stuff. So that's just me. Programs like Canva, there's some programs that help you out there make simple videos with layers. What you want to look for probably is something that allows you to do some basic text editing and multi-layer and or multi-audio track stuff that
So
you
David,
can be a little bit more particular with. Yes, Paul.
David, I've noticed that even like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, they now have their own built-in editing software. So I've seen people actually use
Yes,
those for their final product. That way they don't
you're
have to
right.
really dump it in back and forth to different computers.
Again, yeah, like Vimeo. I use Vimeo, and I know they have the editor. There's a program. There's a platform called Storyblocks, and we're going to get and talk about royalty-free video clips and royalty-free audio clips and things like that. I have an account with Storyblocks, and they have their own video editor built into that platform. So you've got immediate access to all the footage, all the clips, all the special effects and things like that you might want to use. And again, you're already paying for the royalty free is an entire topic we could talk about in an entire episode here, but that's a convenient thing as well.
So since we are crunching time and trying to make it quick, what about tips for somebody who's wanting to do just, can you do it on your iPhone? How close do you need to be to a person? What kind of lighting? What kind of background noise? What thoughts do you have on that?
Again, consider the audience, consider how you're going to present it. Does it need to have a layer of professionalism, or is it just a little snippet where you're walking around, let's say a job site? If Just think about how you expect the person to view it. After you've thought about
Okay.
that, if you need a quiet space, find a quieter space. My room is rather echo free. A standard small office at your standard franchise location is probably going to be very echoey. You've been with that person in that Zoom meeting who just their room is just reverberating all around them. That is not a quiet room. It's a small room. There's nobody talking except you, but it's not a quiet space. So finding that quiet space, you'll once you start trying to do this, you'll start listening to your environment and being like, "Oh my goodness." Go to your car if you just need to record audio. It's amazing how quiet your car is on the inside and how echo free that space is, unless it's hot and you got to turn the air conditioner on.
Sure. What about, you mentioned earlier in a conversation we had about just like a little ring light or a little flip-on mic that would go with your iPhone.
Right.
I've got some of those up on the screen. What are your thoughts on something like that? Is it better than just doing it in a natural light situation and the microphone on the camera?
Again, it depends on where you're going. If you're outside, you don't need a light per se, unless you're in some shadows or in some weird places or it's nighttime. Uh, if you're in the inside, I have a light that's hitting me directly right over here for just my experience. I have a monitor up here with some more white light, just again, so I can present myself well to you. Um, for the microphones, we talk on a phone like this, right? So 99% of the time, if you hear somebody talking, they're here with the microphone right by their face, or they're here talking on it on speakerphone. The further away from your microphone source you get, it doesn't matter how expensive that mic is, but the further away you get, the less quality that you're dealing with. So again, being close to your microphone, make sure that you sound as good as you want to sound. It doesn't matter how much you spend on your equipment. The little mic here that I've provided Paul for a link, that's a $30, ish mic. It plugs into an iPhone, and then it's a wireless transmitter that you clip on or hold. But that's $30. This mic that I'm using right here, this is $300. But if I don't use either one of them and learn how to use either one of them properly, it doesn't matter because it's going to sound bad. Same thing with any of your gear. Learn how to use your iPhone, learn the settings on your iPhone, play with that all day long, and just figure out what it is that you can do, whether it needs to be straightforward or you want it to be super cool.
Perfect. I'll throw a quick plug in here for anybody that's looking for some video content. We have added a page to starfishseo.com /products. and it's products we recommend. I don't know if I can get it up here. Can you guys see that okay? Hopefully you can. So basically, we've got a number of links on here to some microphones, some higher end stuff as well as, but all of it is for people that are just starting out. So we got some lighting, some microphones, some tripods, some books. So if you guys need more direction on that, feel free to reach out to us after the presentation here. We're going to jump into, we've already talked about editing. We've already talked about some other things. I want to mention going live is a very important thing to consider. If you want to go live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube, all of those are valid places to get your message out there. You want to keep it short and sweet. You want to optimize your video for search engines by putting the right hashtags in there. So I would put, if you have an influencer or local restaurant or local company, you're welcome to tag them. If you have maybe a insurance company that you're doing an online training for, or maybe even a continuing education, tag that insurance company, tag that builder. You can share these on, as David said, vertically or horizontally. If you know for sure your end audience is going to be social, I think vertical is probably the way to go. If you know your end audience is going to be long-term, on either a regular YouTube page or a video screen, then you would want to go vertical. But I want to really open it up to you guys to ask us questions and see if we got any insight we can share with that before we run out of time. I know we're pushing the clock here. So have we got any questions that have been sent in? Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? And see if we can get David to help us on directing, you to a good answer on that.
Yes, actually, we got a question here. Is there any certain size of the video that works best?
So you recommend seconds or minutes. Now, when you say size, are you talking about length? Or are you talking about physical format of the screen?
The question didn't say that, but let's answer both of those questions.
So screen size format, you're going to hear numbers like 1080p or 720p. 720p is the recommended. That would be the smallest you would want to go. Again, you'll need to look those up to understand a little bit more about what they are, but those are standard television. When you go out and buy a television, it's going to be 720 or 1080, or you will hear 4K, which is basically double 1080. So it's just a matter of format. Time, it all depends on your content. If you're shooting for social media or things like that, the shorter the better, I would think, because people want to change so fast. And I would get to I like to say the relevant conundrum quickly. I don't recommend turning your thing on and saying, hey, everybody, this is David, and I just wanted to go ahead and come on here. I've got some time here, so I wanted to talk about this other thing. No. Hi, I'm David. Did you know that blah, 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 blah? And then jump right into it. We don't need an introduction. If we want to know more about you, we'll click on your account tag and go in there and look at it. People get nervous about that. And as you're doing it, I'm going to jump off on this little tangent for a second. In training especially, but even with just social media stuff, collect your thoughts and try to say what needs to be said fairly briefly. In training, what I really abhor is, first thing we want to do is go ahead and go move your mouse to the left side of the screen and click on the thing and do the stuff. And no, do this, click here, go there. That's it. It's the philosophy of Proverbs. It's just very straightforward and very simple. So that means you need to practice it a couple of times maybe before you do it.
So not everybody's a newscaster and can throw a mic out there and get to the story right away. You got to have a little bit of a plan, and make sure you choose your words wisely in a quickly manner.
Yes.
Good.
I'm going to leave this next question from Pam to Paul or someone else. This is not my arena.
What's the question?
Pam, are there certain times of day or during the week when it's best to post?
So yes, actually that might be a question for Angie, but yes, there are some times that obviously 2 a.m., unless your audience is going to be watching at 2 a.m., you want to post when people are on their social media. A lot of studies show that first thing in the morning, people get up, one of the first things they do is they check all their accounts. They go to their phone, they check it out. Also about lunchtime and also toward the end of the day when they start getting tired, what am I going to do tonight? Those are traditionally good spots for a live presentation. However, what they've now started doing, a lot of the platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and some others, is it's no longer real time. So if they think that you would like something, they may post, somebody may post it at 9 a.m., but you may not see it till 2 in the afternoon. So they have gotten smarter that way. So as long as you do get the content out there, that's good. But if you're going to really try to capture an audience real time, then I would target the business part of the day. And then there's another lull down till about 7, right around dinner, right after dinner, that people will jump back on. So I don't know that I would put as much emphasis on that as I used to because of the algorithms and the platforms. So that's a great question, though. Thank you for asking that. And I can't see the Q&A because I've got the presentation on my screen where that would normally show up. So I apologize.
Well, that was about the only questions that we had. If anybody has anything else, please put that in the chat. If not, David, thank you so much for your valuable time and expertise. We always enjoy getting to see you and hear your wonderful voice behind the scenes. And we are just immensely grateful for your time today. And I know our audience is very thankful for you as well. So again, round of applause for David White and Paul for bringing this content to everybody. And again, we will have our next training, Paul, I think it's next month.
Let's see, we've got the opening slide had that on June 14th, and it's going to be AI and Chat GPT. We're going to talk about how that can impact your business. And we may have a series on that because it's so robust. So we'd love to hear your feedback on that. And if you want to sign up for reminders, here's a reminder screen. You can just scan the QR code there. And thank you guys so much for joining us. This was recorded. We'll get it edited and get it up on the website. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us at Starfish. We're fine with our team is quite comfortable sending you responses and links and whatever you need to get your business up and running. We love helping people with video. Shameless plug, if you really want some high-end video and you want somebody to come in with a camera crew and script writing and pre-production and post-production planning, that is one of the areas that we focus and specialize in, and so we'd be delighted to talk to you further about that if that's something that you'd like to explore. But we want to make it easy for you to get videos up online straight from your technicians, your production folks, your people on the floor, depending on whatever kind of business you're in. So feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much, and we hope you guys have a wonderful day.